call the meeting to order. I'd like to thank the Heritage Day Committee for coming here, as well as members of the city and the city council, as well as city manager. And our clerk will be here to take down the minutes. Our city attorney, Joe, is here as well. Let me give you a little bit of kind of like the outline of this evening's meeting, and then I'm going to turn it over to Joe. And then we should get out of here at a reasonable hour before 1 a.m. First off, we are going to kind of give you a background for the reason behind the meeting, and namely that's going to be the FOIA request that was issued by one of the councilmen. Number two, we are going to be providing the Heritage Day Committee with information that is going to help you all make a decision on how you are going to proceed from here. And this will be discussed by Joe. Additionally, in regards to the City Council, if there is a formal request from the Heritage Day Committee to the city, the information that is gained here is going to help them provide them with the information that they need to make any decision that they might possibly make. There may be questions concerning the actual FOIA request. At the end, there is an action item that I would like the Heritage Day Committee. They don't have to make a decision, of course, today by any stretch of the imagination, but they need to take it from here and answer this question and bring it back to the city. And here's the question. Does the Heritage Day Committee desire to be an official committee of the city of Farmer City? So with that, I turn it over to Joe. Sir, you have the floor.
Okay, thanks. Again, I'm Joe Chandler. I'm the city attorney. I've been coming out here for a couple of months here now. And I know this has been discussed sort of tangentially, and with the Freedom of Information Act request that came in recently, kind of brought to a head in my mind. And I think it's worth noting here that we're being videotaped, right? And this is out in the public, and maybe this is a little different. But it's my understanding factually, and if I'm wrong in my facts, please correct me, that the committee uses the city's tax ID number.
Yes, correct.
For purposes of when it enters into contracts with vendors or artists or whoever.
Right.
Okay. Uses the city's tax ID number. Okay. And that the committee uses the city's insurance policy umbrella also for its projects, its work. Okay.
Yes.
We know that the city has provided financial support in the past. Well, with those items, the biggest being using the city's tax ID number and being under the city's insurance, to a lesser extent receiving money from the city, but not exclusively because of receiving money from the city, it is my opinion, as I've expressed to the city administration, that the committee is an official body of the city of Farmer City. And as an official committee of the city of Farmer City, the committee must comply with all state rules and regulations. The two biggest being Freedom of Information Act requests and Open Meetings Act. Now, and must follow the protocols and procedures that the city has for generally running city council meetings for the most part. And for example, with Open Meetings Act, I don't know, how many total members of the committee are there right now?
I mean, there's 4 main committee members. I mean, we have a couple
Our
that have
executive
come on.
board, there's 4 of us, the executive committee, and then we have subcommittees.
We have some people that, are helping with certain specific, some would be doing vendors. Like we just are kind of branching off to let, a couple of people be in charge of trying to get vendors in and, getting like little subcommittees. But we ultimately, like me and her, sign the checks. We both have to have both of our names. So I mean, I guess we have said that we're the director and co-director, but Felicia is, a main part of it, and Stephanie Roush. We're the 4 that have been on the committee for the past. But this is the first year we've ever taken it over. So before that, Jill Hardesty was in charge of it, and she's in the audience today. So,
Okay.
this is the first year we've ever been the ones that took it over. And,
Okay.
And we never were, told that we were supposed to take minutes and hold it like a city council meeting. That was never expressed to us. We never have held a meeting like that, really, where we have minutes where we're going over. We weren't aware we were supposed to do that.
Understand, and this is not criticism, this is a learning for all of us, okay? And there's facts that I need to learn and know, and obviously then you're going to need to, this is going to need to be, your decisions are going to have to be made, ultimately, as the mayor said, of, okay, does the committee want to continue to be a committee of the city? And does the city council want the Heritage Committee to be an official committee of the city? Now, there's going to need to be more clarity as to who is actually a member of the committee.
Okay.
And what the committee's actual function is. And quite frankly, I'm not comfortable at this point in time with the idea of sort of subcommittees. I think it's either you're on the committee or you're not on the committee because of things like we need to understand how many people are on the committee, and that drives the number of members, which drives issues of, do you have an open meetings problem? Meaning, Open Meetings Act in general, is anybody familiar with the Open Meetings Act in general at all? Anybody? Okay, fair enough. Okay, says that for a unit of local government in the state of Illinois, you're going to have a committee meeting, then you need to have either a majority. If you're going to have a discussion discussing official business of the committee, then if you've got a majority of a quorum, I'll explain this in a full second, a majority of a quorum, then it must be a regularly posted meeting, posted 48 hours in advance with an agenda, with notification to the media, with notification to the public. Except if it's a 5-person committee, then you actually only need, there needs to be a quorum necessary in order to invoke Open Meetings Act. So if you have 1, 2, 3, if you've got 4 committee members, Mary Kimball, Aaron McKinley, Felicia Hughes, and Stephanie Roush, who's not here right now. Let's just assume for conversation you got 4. A quorum is 3, a majority of a quorum is 2. If you have a 4-person committee, 2 of you having a conversation about official Heritage Committee business invokes the Open Meetings Act, and you cannot have that conversation unless you've posted it in a notice 48 hours in advance and alerted the media. Okay? If you have 5 people on your committee, then there's a separate rule there, 3. So there you could actually have 2 people talk about some official business, but only 2 people. But if you ever had 3 people, you can only have 3 people talk at an official meeting that's posted 48 hours in advance with an agenda alerting the media. And let me also be clear, a phone conversation can be a meeting. An email conversation can be a meeting. A Facebook chat can be a meeting. Any form of communication, including smoke signals, that's a little humor, is a meeting. Okay? So I think that's something the committee needs to understand and take into account when you're, one, deciding how many members are we really going to have on this committee, and we can talk about this in further detail, and another driving factor of, do you want to be a committee of the city of Farmer City? Also, your deliberations when you have a meeting have to be in public. That may include your conversations about what acts do we want to book, not book, this kind of the other thing. Now, there may be certain exceptions when you actually enter into contracts. You cannot enter a contract without the full committee voting on it. Okay. But, so that's sort of in the broad brushstrokes, the Open Meetings Act issue. Now, you're going to need to take minutes. And when you have a meeting, an official, someone's going to need to take minutes. Now, this one, Sandy's taking minutes. But Sandy doesn't have to be the one doing it. It can be anybody, but it needs to be someone officially appointed. You will be taking minutes, and there must be minutes taken at every meeting, and they must be provided to the city in a timely basis, not the next day, but in a timely basis, because they're part of the public record that must be, available for the general public, and the city must keep those. Also, all financial information must be provided to the city. Everything. Now, there's another question as to who really has authority to sign the checks. That gets to be a little bit trickier. That has to do more with the city's auditors and the city's financial bond providers about who really has authority to write the checks. I can't answer that question today, but what I can answer and say affirmatively is all of the financial information of the committee must be made available to the city, which must be made available to the public upon request.
So does that need to be more than them, because they have access to the bank account, they're on the bank account, so does that need to be more than that?
We get the monthly statements.
If that's your full financial information, that's your full financial information.
So Bruce gets that every month,
Okay,
so
So we don't need to do anything more than that for financial at this
that's
point?
it,
okay.
Just like generally going over all of this to kind of tell us.
You would need to know the bills though,
And
out there,
general-
outstanding bills, because obviously.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, the bank report is going to list the debts that you paid and the payments that you paid, but it won't necessarily list anybody who you might owe. So you will need a list of, people that you owe, the bills that have come in and what have you, because ultimately the city is responsible for those dollars. So if by some chance the Heritage Day Committee could not meet a bill that it had occurred, then as a committee in the city must pay those bills. So that is additional information we need as well.
And then the other issue is Freedom of Information Act. So are there any minutes that have been taken?
might have been when Jill was in charge, but this last year, there hasn't been any.
Okay, all right. Okay. I guess the financial information, I think you may have answered that, but the treasurer, or help me here, the official bookkeeper of the city? Ruth, okay. She's got the account, you believe?
She did receive a statement today from the bank, so
Okay,
she does get statements.
okay, all right. Okay. And again, what other financial information there may be? And there may not be any more, that's fine.
Right.
You only have what you have, so. That's kind of it in a broad nutshell. I'm happy to answer questions and have further discussion about this.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say that I think, that everything that's being said right now has never ever been said to us. I mean, we've never taken it over, but I mean, no one has ever approached us. And at one point last year, I mean, Josh Hahn was supposed to be a part of it or whatever, and I mean, nothing has ever come up about any of this. And we were in no way, shape, or form trying to deceive anybody or not take minutes because we're trying to not keep something.
No accusation of that
Okay,
at all.
because I really am
Seriously.
hoping that we were just obviously misinformed on the role that we were playing. We just assumed this was a city event. We didn't realize it was as serious as having to have the open meetings and having to have so many. I mean, the reality is that the four of us do it all. I mean, we are just overachievers, and we have type A personalities, and we can get it done. I mean, we don't, and if people want to help us, that's great. We have a lot of volunteers at the time that it happens, but there's not a lot of people that want to dedicate a whole entire year to setting an event like this up. So the reality is that this is it. I mean, Stephanie's missing, but That's what it is. So, you know, we just want, all we've ever wanted is the support of the city and for them to see, you know, the benefit of this for the town and for everybody involved.
Let me just say, ultimately, this is to provide you the information that you would need to make a decision to move forward, because you don't have to be a committee of the city.
Yeah, and
So,
I
I
mean,
mean,
obviously, it probably is not in our best interest right now, but I mean, we have no
But, well,
idea, we have to look into it, so we can't make a decision.
No, I don't want you to make a decision this evening.
Yeah.
The issue at hand would be this: you would lose two things. That would be our tax ID number,
Right.
and then that would be the insurance.
Right.
That could be very big for the organization.
Right, and that's something that we have to have time to look into and all
And
that.
we want the organization, of course, to prosper and succeed. If you were to lose those two things, that does not mean that you would lose access to the street, as long as you know we have that relationship with the city council. Nor would you necessarily, just like we give money to other committees and other organizations, they are not part of the city, and we still give them money. You can still receive monies from us, so you don't have to be part of the city. Just the full understanding that you lose those two things from us. However, if you do want to be part of the city and receive our tax ID number and our insurance, and of course probably greater access to funds, especially funds from like the general fund and what have you, you do need to be part of the city. And with that, from this day forward, you would need to follow the Open Meeting Act. You would need to publish that. In addition to
And
that,
Sandy would give us all the information.
yeah, we can, I mean, we'll provide that information for you. And in addition to that, as Joe and I have had in conversation, there has to be some sort of a marriage here. So the committee would need to make an official request to the city of Farmer City that they become an official committee under the city. And at that time, the city council will have to also vote upon that. Do they want to recognize this committee as an official committee? And then, of course, you just must follow the guidelines as set forth that by law. So that's all pretty much that I have in a nutshell. So, are there any questions?
I guess I'm just a little confused on why this is all coming to head now. Like, this has been going on, this is not a new event, this is not something that we just started, you know what I mean? Like, why is this happening now while we're in charge of it? Like, that's what I'm questioning, is like, why did no one know this information? It's taking you coming in here and being paid high dollar amounts to come in here and explain this to everybody. I'm a little concerned that like the officials of the city don't understand this, and they never approached us at any point in time and said anything to us, which I am referring obviously to you, Larry, of that why haven't you approached us and tried to confront us about the situation? Were you not aware of what was happening for all these years? I just don't understand.
Well, I can't speak for Larry. All I can do is say, this is not an obvious issue, quite frankly. And quite frankly, I've been coming out here for a couple of months, and when this Freedom of Information Act came in, and I said, okay, this is legitimate. If the committee, if we believe, sitting here, just my conversation with the administration, if we believe that the city, the Heritage Committee is a function of the city, then we need to provide this documentation. Do we have this? And the answer was, no, we really don't. Okay, we need this then. So, this
So I would just like to bring light a little bit that like the ball was dropped a little bit, like with the people within the city that work here, because we have been dealing all year with them. I mean, we write checks, we deal a lot with Ruth. I mean, everybody knows what's been going on. So I just, to me, I just don't understand. We had a great event, and I feel like it's totally overshadowing our event and all the hard work we put into it by all this negativity that we're having to deal with.
I don't see this as negativity at all. I see this as that, something was found, and then let's just go ahead and take care of it. So, I mean, you want to go to the history. The history was the 175th. You guys did a great job, and the official request was, I think I talked to you and I said, hey, you ought to consider doing this every year. That was the marriage that happened. And then the ladies at that time took over, and they took control, and they did an absolutely wonderful job. And as it's grown and evolved, things have been extended, the tax ID number and what have you. When the official request came in, and we just, the question was at hand, well, is this an official committee. You know, if you were to ask me that, I don't know if, I couldn't say yes, it was an official committee, because quite frankly, we never voted on, names have never been put to it. I mean, the library is an official committee. I understand that to be an official committee. I think that you were a committee that was working very hard, and we had that type of a relationship, and that was it. So as soon as the question was asked, you know, we had to seriously look into this. And so, nothing negative. No, I don't even want, I mean, I can't speak to the heart of anyone else, even to the person who put the request in, but I want the organization, I want the Heritage Day to continue to prosper and to continue to do the wonderful things that it is. And all we're doing, instead of hitting each other, is this. What do you want? And if you all want to be a committee under the city, then we're going to do whatever it takes to make that happen. If you don't want to be a committee under the city, then we're going to do whatever it takes to provide you what you need to continue to prosper. That's it. That's it. So let's just not do this. I'm tired.
When is the next city council meeting?
It'll be a week from next Monday, so that'll be on the 15th. There will not be another city council meeting for another 4 weeks after that, because we're not going to meet on the Labor Day weekend.
So you're doing it the 12th or the 19th?
My eyeballs are off. So we just met on the 1st, so the 15th is the next meeting. And then there won't be another meeting until
The 12th,
the 19th.
the 19th.
Because we won't have a meeting by the 15th. And then we need to have our whole crew
I agree,
together.
I agree.
So
Well,
we can talk to you the 19th. Is that fine?
A question for you, do they need to, I'm assuming right now, I mean, they're not a committee under the city.
no, I think they are.
That you think that they are?
I think they are. I mean, they are using the city's tax ID number,
Okay.
and under the city's insurance, those cross the line.
So they will need, we need to get an outline of how to do it, and then you'll need to post your
meeting,
what-
come on down and talk about it.
We have a meeting the 17th, so can,
So we just won't
get
come
me
back to you guys
everything
till
as soon as
after that.
possible.
Yes.
Okay,
So we'll plan on coming back here the 19th.
so you're planning on having a meeting the 17th? Okay.
And we always have that at the Farmer City Library, is that okay?
It's,
I think it's preferable that, what time do you have it, in the evening or here?
6:30.
6:30.
Okay. You can have it at the library. We've got to post it. Got to post it in advance here and send it to the media and also post it at the library. But you're going to have an off-site meeting. That's okay. Off-site meaning off the city. You know, it's open to the public. It's open to the media, which imagine they probably have in the past been anyway. So that's not a problem.
Okay.
But it's got to be posted at least 48 hours in advance, notify the city, notify the media. Sandy's got those contact information and knows how to do that. Put together an agenda. You can talk about anything you want at a validly noticed meeting, but you cannot take action unless it's on the agenda. That's another important item to know about the Open Meetings Act. If you have a valid meeting and it's properly posted, you can talk about anything, but you cannot take final action. If you want to take final action, you have to have it on the agenda.
can we provide them kind of like an outline?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely, yeah. An outline, just a sample outline just to follow, and absolutely. See, you know, we can and we must.
No,
You know.
I guess I should be doing it this way. Can we make sure
Yeah.
that we provide an
Yeah,
outline?
absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Of course I have it.
Well, no, I understand, but it's a key distinction, you know, I mean, we're not here just to help them. We must help
Yes,
them
yes,
if they're
yes.
a committee of the city. You know,
Very good.
that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point.
So Larry, if you provide that, and whatever information that they, you know, to make sure. Very good.
And I'll work with Larry and Sandy and whoever to make certain that we get that done right. I don't need to attend your meeting. Larry doesn't, Sandy doesn't. Certainly you can if you want us to, if the mayor directs us to, but it just has to be open. It's got to be public posted, and someone's got to be there sort of generally managing the meeting to a certain extent, and someone must take minutes
Okay.
and provide those to the city.
Ladies, do you have any questions or concerns?
And if we want, I mean, if we get the tax, if we look into the tax and all that, we wanted, I mean, how do we handle that? Like to just say that we, can't afford to go off and not have to run under the city's insurance and all that? If we look into it or whatever, everybody decides that we'd rather just be our own committee and just hope that we get the blessing of the city,
Well, if the decision is we don't want the Heritage Committee to be part of the city, if that's sort of the feeling of the Heritage Committee, that you prefer to be a separate organization, then you can simply say, we don't want to be part of the city anymore, and make that request of the city council. Okay. Then the city council can make that decision. Obviously, if you don't want to be part, if the city council, theoretically, if the city council said, no, we demand that you be part of the city, you as individuals can always simply resign and say, well, we're not going to be part of it, so good luck on finding your committee members, okay? Then it's really an empty shell of a committee, and if you as individuals go off and you, without the city's blessing or knowledge or permission, which you don't need, this is still America, you don't need the government's permission to meet, okay? That's called freedom of association. Then fine, then you've created your own committee. But the key is, from an administrative point of view, and a logistical point of view, and a practical point of view, then you're not using the city's tax ID number, and you're not going to be covered under the city's insurance. And I know that one question the city will have, because they've asked me in the past, well, then we better make, in order to allow a non-city committee to use the streets for this form of festival, not exactly, but this form of festival, the city's insurance will demand that there be proof of insurance provided to the city from the committee, so that the city is protected in case there is a terrible, tragic accident, that the committee, as a separate entity, has insurance as the first line of defense. So that will be an important. I'm positive. I know what I'd recommend to the city as the city's attorney. I'm positive the city will say, you can't use our streets unless you've got insurance, that our insurance carrier is satisfied with. And that shouldn't be shocking to you folks to hear that.
Yeah, no, that's common sense.
Right, exactly. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is is that, when you stop and put it in that perspective.
My question is to Larry, if we went on our own, would we still have access for the city guys to help us to do all this stuff, since it is Farmers City Heritage Day?
I don't think that the city council would have any objections to that. I wouldn't know why they would. And that's really not.
I mean, we're going to look into the rates and stuff like that, I have no problem taking minutes and doing, all this stuff, that it takes. I mean, we just didn't know about it.
Right.
But if by chance we went on our own, I just hope we still have the support of the city, because we are 4 women. They're all women on our committee. We can't move those poles. I mean, we can't. There's a lot of things we can't do, and we need the help from the city guys.
Yeah, I don't see any issues with that. So.
Okay. We'll talk about it.
Can you put us on the agenda for the September 19th meeting?
So the mayor sets the agenda.
Can you put us on the
I
agenda
will
for the
put you
September
on,
19th?
if I get the request, and I'll need to have the request by that Friday.
Okay.
Either way, yes, we can put you on the agenda.
Okay.
By that Thursday, yes, by that Thursday. Which is so you're not looking at the 15th, so you're looking at the 9th of September, correct?
The 19th, right? You're the
No, it would be, the next, the 19th, so it'd be is that the 6th?
19th.
So the 15th. So we would need to have the request by the 15th.
Okay.
I'll make sure you're on the agenda.
So when we have a meeting the 17th, we have to post it, since we are a committee of the city.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, and when do you think you're going to have your meeting again?
It's August 17th.
August?
And we don't have to have meetings at the same time all the time, do we? I mean,
What you have to do is, you really should establish a routine. You can hold special meetings and provide the notice, but you really need to set a monthly or regularly scheduled meeting so that you can notify the press. You can hold special meetings, but then you have to call them and you got to post it in advance.
see, it's really hard to do that because they're mothers and they got softball and they got basketball and they got football, they got soccer, you know. They're all soccer moms, but me.
So as long as we get 48 hours notice before we do anything, we're fine.
Yes, you can call a special meeting, you got to get 48 hours notice. I understand. I don't write the laws, ma'am.
Oh, that's okay. I just, you know, I want to
I know.
clarify.
It's just my little snarky comment, you know,
No, okay.
for the benefit of the media. I don't write the laws, I'm just here to tell you about it.
Okay. Okay, we're good.
So what time, August 17th, at what time?
6:30,
At the library.
pharmacy library.
Okay. August 17th, 6:30, library, okay. Yes, sir.
Recommend they have a fifth member of their committee.
Well,
Well, Chris is going to be on the committee. She's-
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they have 5 members, that's an excellent point, I'm glad you brought that. You know, if you have 5 members, then 2 of you can still talk to each other without violating the law. But if you only have 4 members, 2 of you having a conversation violates the Open Meetings Act, okay?
But we're all friends, so we just can't talk about it today.
I understand, I get it. This is not easy,
We do have more people interested, so when we come back, they can tell us, you can tell us how many.
If you have more, then you have more. You know, again, you know, if you have, you know, it's just math here. It's sometimes a challenge for me at times, but, you know, if you got 5, you can have,
But we can all be together, but just not talk about heritage days, right?
that is correct.
Okay.
Now, self-policing,
Isn't it fun?
yeah, welcome to local government, you know, yeah.
As
That's
a rule,
fine, that's fine.
I won't meet with more than one of them. I mean, even an email.
But you're not friends.
But we hate each other.
I know. I hear that all the time.
Sometimes government's more efficient, isn't it?
Unless there's any objection, this is how I'm getting a first and a second, by the way. We will go ahead and adjourn.
Okay.
No
Good.
objection?
Nope.
So,
Nope.
very good. We are adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.